Pakistan cricket at its best. 1 minute down, next minute up.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me once again. Saj Sadek here, bringing you another exclusive interview. Delighted to be joined by one of the greats of Pakistan cricket, a cricketer who I've admired for many years. I remember my father telling me that what a wonderful cricketer he is as well. 76 tests, scoring over 4,000 runs. He made 10 test hundreds and 17 50s. He played 122 ODIs, scoring over 2,600 runs, making 16 50s in the 50 over format. First class cricket, he had an amazing record, over 14,000 runs. On top of that, 177 international wickets, so he was a more than useful bowler as well. Former head coach of Pakistan, he's worked for the PCB in a number of roles, including working at the National Cricket Academy. He's been the former Kenya head coach as well, and he worked at the ICC Global Cricket Academy, holding some key positions for the ICC. Delighted to be joined by the one and only Mudassar Nazar. Mudi bhai, hope you're well.
All good, thank you.
Mudi bhai, I want to talk to you about modern day batters and this the struggles against spin. We've recently seen a test match in India where it barely lasted 3 days. Do you think it's a lack of technique, or are they impatient? What's going on?
No, I think, to be fair, when it's a turning page, what is a turning page? On the second day, on the third day, it starts with leg spin. This is a normal test match pitch. This is how the pitches should be. But when you don't roll the pitch for, let's say, I remind you what happened in Bangalore in 1986, the test match we won. 4 games had been drawn and huge scoring by both set of batsmen. We come to Bangalore and I see they watered the whole of the ground. Maninder Singh was at his zenith in those days. He was taking wickets left, right, and center. And we had flown Iqbal Qasim, who wasn't originally selected, but we had to save, and then Iqbal Qasim came on the scene. Jasprit was there. So India needed a result. We needed a result. India got carried away. They watered the whole of the ground. Pitch was underwater. This is 2 days before the game. And a day before, I saw them, we were practicing there, they rolled the pitch with a light roller, just went up and down a few times, marked the pitch. I said, come on, we're playing. Unfortunately for them, they lost toss. So if you finish up batting fourth in a test match like this, on the ground like this, on the pitch like this, it's a lottery. This is why toss becomes very, very important. Pakistan, as you know, recently lost against South Africa. And they lost against West Indies as well, if you remember, a couple of years ago. Because of doctor the pitches, he worked in the fair in the first match. Second match, they finished up batting fourth. And then somebody can hold their hands up, and like Kagis or Rabada did. Taylor came in, built a partnership by 100 runs, and took the game away from Pakistan. So it becomes very, very difficult to bat on the fourth day, or even the fourth inning. It might have been the third day of the game. I remember Wasim Akram bowling in the Bangalore Test match. The first ball he bowled, it took a big chunk out of the pitch. Wasim in the second innings took 2 wickets by no seam bowling. He actually bowled like a left-hand leg spinner, but at pace. He pitched, took a piece out of the pitch, bounced, and he got wicket. So when Babar Azam and all of them struggling on pitches like this, it's understandable. When the pitch starts to take turn like this, and people like Jadeja on a normal test match is a fodder, because the ball's coming into you all the time to a right-hander. You play him like a seam bowler, in-swing bowler. But when the ball darts in the air, pitches, and just takes off and takes you off stump, that becomes unplayable. So it's not the technique. Obviously, technique is involved in certain ways. You've got to play the ball very, very late. But remember, we are in the days of 2020 and even 10-10 now. People don't have the kind of patience. They would play a stroke, irrespective of whether the ball's turning or not.
Well, I was just
Play
going to
against
come
the
to
swing.
that because
And
the
they will
focus
play against the swing.
nowadays, yeah,
They will play against the swing.
the focus nowadays, just Muddy Rice seems to be on entertaining, whether it's T10, T20, 50 overall Test cricket.
Not just that,
Yeah,
it's a habit as well. You know what you do in the nights, you take it into the game. So if you've been playing, let's say you've just come through 5 20-20 games or domestic 2020 tournament and go into a one-day game or in a test match, your mind is tuned to 2020 cricket. To see the ball, you hit it. I'll give you another example. In 2001, we were running a camp, the first ever camp by National Cricket Academy. And if you remember, Jeffrey Barker came to coach in that. And Jeffrey, prior to that camp, had made up some friendship with Shahid Afridi. Afridi was not in that camp, but he came to the nets and he came into bat for some reason. And Barker was standing right next to me. And Barker said to him, he said, so what are you going to do? And he said, what do you want? He said, I bet you can't block 6 balls. He said, what are you talking about? 6 balls? I block 6 balls. He said, yeah, that. 100 rupee, 100 rupee. Both of them gave me 100 rupee. I was the custodian. He gave me 100 rupee. You know what? If it is first ball, 80 out of the ground. Barker took the 100 rupee from me. Because the guy was conditioned to hit the ball. He saw it, he hit it. So this is how these modern batsmen are.
what do you I just wanted to talk again a little bit about the inability to play a spin. Look, spinning tracks have always been there. You've mentioned it. You guys toured India, Sri Lanka, all around the world, and these great spinners were there. But I'm looking at modern day batters, and when things get difficult, I know it's not right to compare different eras, but to me, a lot of the modern day batters, they're great on flat tracks. But as soon as there's a bit of seam or reverse swing or a little bit of spin, then they don't look the same.
Because in 2020 cricket, irrespective of whether you're in form or out of form, you have to hit the ball. You don't fall back on your basics. If you don't have strong basics, you're always going to struggle. If you look at the history of the batsman, top one-day cricketer, one-day batsman, you don't talk about Michael Bevan, who was actually a very good one-day player. But those who scored stacks of runs in 10,000, 9,000, 8,000 runs, they scored a similar amount of runs in Test cricket. They were the cricketers. They had fantastic technique. Modern players do not have that because they've not been conditioned. We were brought up with 3-day cricket in school cricket. Patience was the name of the game. These days, these boys don't have patience. In fact, the spectators and coaches don't have patience. I tell you, some of the coaches in club cricket now, and I used to find that in Dubai, it was mind-boggling. They would retire the batsman even in the first ball. Because coaching has gone the other way with these guys. There's no more room left for the kind of us who back solid technique. You go in, see the ball, hit it. You don't hit it, coaches are very, very annoyed. If you're talking about baseball, we go back before baseball came. McCullum was coach of Law Qalandars. And his mantra was, I don't mind you getting caught at mid-wicket. Hit it. And Law Qalandars lost. I think there were 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And all of them struggled. And a lot of the youngsters who I thought would have made it into Pakistan team, this just fell by the wayside because if the coach is saying go in, enjoy yourself, lose the game, doesn't matter.
Woody Bhai, I want to talk to you about pressure. Look, a lot of Pakistani current batters talk about, oh, there's a lot of media pressure on us. The fans' expectations are this much, that much. You know, we if we don't perform in one or two games, we start getting a stick from the media or the fans. That pressure has always been there. When you played, there was pressure. You know, you're playing in front of thousands and thousands of fans, packed stadiums all around the world. But that pressure's always been there. Are our modern generation of cricketers a little bit sort of spoilt that, you know, they can't handle a bit of pressure?
I was walking onto the field, Karachi Test match against England, 1977. And Majid was with Packer at that stage. So he used to field in the first slip. So Majid was missing. So I was in the first slip, like I used to do with Pakistan Airlines. And Wasim Bari would be our keeper. And he was captain in that series. Packer's place was missing. And as we crossed the row, I happened to mention to Wasim Bari, he said, Bari, under a lot of pressure, I feel a lot of pressure. And he got offended. He turned around and he said, do you think it gets easier? He was in probably 75th test match. And mine was about 5th or 6th test match. He gave me a dressing down. You think it gets easier? And he was right. As I grew older, there was more pressure because expectancy. More spectators in a team was more. I was a senior player. I was the one supposed to bail the team out. So it gets worse. But if you don't cope with it, then you don't have room. You don't have room to stay there. And it's, there's some people who are born with it, like Javed Miansad was, thrived in pressure, under pressure. Asif Iqbal from Pakistan. Situation got tough, he went in and got 3 runs. And there was some who didn't, but some have the inbuilt, some have to learn it. But whether you have it or not, you have to learn it.
And
Otherwise,
the current batters then, Mudi Bhai, it seems like quite a few of them aren't learning about how to handle pressure in Pakistan.
well, yes, but you did mention media before,
Yes.
but you forgot to mention the former players.
Well, yes, indeed. Yes.
It's some of the former players who've got jobs with different media houses. And they're just waiting to pounce on you. They just want to bash you. I'm talking about the current players. And if you happen to do well and win a game, they're ready for your next game. You fail again, they're at you. And it doesn't matter.
Mudi
And
Bhai, I
it's
want to
not
talk.
just
Yeah, I want to talk to
it's
you.
not just let me just finish.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
not just the players. Administrator like me would feel the pinch at the National Academy. You used to go there at 5 o'clock in the morning, leave at 7:30 and 8 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. And yet I would get bashed. And I just think, what more can I do? There are players coming through this system. But those former players, they had to have a go at you. It's not very nice, but it is happening. And it is increasing all the time.
You mentioned about the National Cricket Academy, Mudi Bhai, and I was just going to mention something to you. I interviewed Kuram Niazi recently, who's the director of domestic cricket at the PCB, and his plan is to build or set up 16 academies across Pakistan, across all the major cities. Do you think that's possible? Do you think it's a good idea?
That is the idea. I was running the 16 academies. Where's that idea come from? I was running the 16 academies. Some were built. Some were used to just hire hotels and cricket grounds. There were 16 regions in Pakistan. I was running 16. It started with the 5 academies in 2000. And 6 was the National Cricket Academy. And we were just talking about building the National Cricket Academy. People used to house in Ramada Hotel. And from then onward, the next time I went back in 2004, no, 2006, and I think we started with about 7, 8 academies. Eventually, it became 16 regions, and now I opened up 16 academies, and we ran them, not just 1 year, 2 years, we ran them all the time. Unfortunately, every time I left Pakistan, do those 3 stints, they would close the academy. They would stop funding it. And that's why we've been left behind. And it has been a very unfortunate part of my career. Started something, people believed in that, yet the funding would stop as soon as I would come out of Pakistan. And now these guys are going to go back to 16 academies, and you've taken the name of this gentleman. I'm sure Aki Javed is behind this. Because Aki worked with us in the initial period. And he knows the game. He knows how the development works, or how the development structure, what development structure it should be. And it's not just feasible, it is our duty to do it. Somebody in Chicago or in Sukkot has as much right as me living in Lahore. NWFP, Pathans make 65% or 7% of all the teams in Pakistan, whether you are in Sukkot, in Karachi. So why shouldn't you be making academies in NWFP, where the talent is coming from?
Mudi bhai, just more.
Sorry. I will talk to something, so let me
tell you something else. Of course, yes.
In 2000, when I was asked by Tukizia to open the 6 academies in Pakistan, well, I went in to open an academy in Pakistan, and I finished up making 6 academies. I said I'll start from Peshawar. And Tuki said, no, you must go to Karachi. Politically, it's not right. Karachi, big city, main city. You must go there. And I kept saying no. And he said, why? I said, because in the last 7, 8 years from England, I've been watching. All the cricketers are coming from Pindi, Islamabad, and Peshawar. And that's where I want to go. And he kept the pressure on, go to Karachi, because he was under pressure. Eventually, I went to Peshawar first. I walked into the Peshawar Stadium, Babar Azam Stadium, and there was 1 or 2 officials there to facilitate me. And while I'm walking towards the Babar Azam Stadium, I hear a lot of sound coming from right-hand side. Big gate there. So I got curious. I opened that gate. I went in. There were 300, 350 youngsters in those nets practicing. And I said, this is where all the that talent is coming from. This is the academy. You've called me from England, all from such a faraway place. You've already got a nursery here.
Yeah. Mudi bhai, just talking about sledging, that's been in the news again. It's part and parcel of the game. I'm sure during when you played, sledging was common. I'm sure the likes of Javed Mirdad, Imran Khan always had a few words for the opposition as well. But recently, India have been criticised for getting very personal with the South African captain, Bavuma. Sledging, as I say, is part and parcel of the game, but how far do you take it and before it gets sort of over the top and too personal?
Most of the time, it's just humor. And most of the time, they're trying to, disturb your concentration. Sometimes it gets too far. When color comes into it, when somebody brilliant, truly, hits you below the belt. And with this Temba Bavuma, I think they got carried away. If you remember, Sarfraz got carried away. He was one of the best Indian players. And sometimes you don't understand what they're saying. And it has an effect.
Yeah.
And it's uncalled for. I never had a problem because nobody sledged me. A, I was friends with most of them. B, it just didn't bother me. And once in a while, I would sledge somebody, but it was a good banter. And it wasn't very serious, but sometimes it can get very serious. And those who sledge you, they don't like it when you turn the heat on them. It's up to them. But nowadays, it's very easy to control as well. In those days, there were no cameras, there were no microphones, speakers. It's all there. All depends on the match referee and umpires. What they must do is be fair, not give a special treatment to some country players. Yeah, and all should be equal.
Mudibai, moving on to captaincy power struggle in Pakistan cricket. I mean, you played in an era where there was lots of chopping and changing of captains. You played under a lot of captains. You captained teams yourself. Why is it in Pakistan cricket? Recently, we've seen Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, Shaheen Shafi, the chopping and changing as ODI captains. Why in Pakistan cricket is captaincy always a power struggle between senior players? Why is it something that so many of our cricketers chase?
Well, it has a lot to do with the cricket board. The administrators there. And if players see they can manipulate, then they would do it. In the 80s, I never thought the Indian Cricket Board wanted to win against us because there would be 7 to 8 Indian captains playing in the same team. So that would have a damaging effect. It's bound to. And in Pakistan, it has been the same. Intikhab Alam became a captain of Pakistan, a top-class player. But it was very close to the cricket board, Hafiz Qadar and some other guys. And then he only wins one series in New Zealand in 73. A couple of months later, the series in Pakistan, England had come to Pakistan, and Majid was made captain. Why? And 3 matches later, Majid was removed. So it's all down to the cricket board. They come to pressure. And especially in those days, there used to be a lot of pressure. There was a lot of tussle between Karachi and Lahore.
Udibay, I just want to talk to you about Babar Azam a little bit. You mentioned last time we spoke that, don't doubt his talent. He'll come good. Yeah, we can say that Sri Lanka isn't the strongest opposition at the moment, but that 100 is so important for him, isn't it? It's come at an important time in his career because there's been 80 plus innings that he'd not scored an international 100.
Happens. Sometimes people take longer. What I'm surprised about Babar is that he's been getting out in his 20s and 30s to innocuous balls, especially a spin bowler who bowls a straight ball. His last innings I saw against the leg spinner got clean bowled. His problem is he doesn't have a long stride. He tries to play very late. That's a plus point. But his bat, instead of coming from first slip, is actually coming from third or fourth slip. When you do that, there is a gap between bat and bat. And that's where he misses a straight ball. He plays for the spin, ball straight, he gets cleaned out, either leg before or gets clean bowled. And if you see him after he's got out, when he's walking back, He's practicing that shot and he does it properly. So he knows he made a mistake. But it's just a bad habit and he has to get over it. Also, he's having a problem with an outswing. His right leg finishes off outside the off stump. That's the back leg. Once the back leg goes there, your hands are obviously going to go towards that direction. That takes you well away from the off stump. And you finish up playing at cricket balls, which you shouldn't be. If your weight was on the front foot, you could easily leave those balls. And he finishes up doing that, and that's where he's struggling. These are 2 points that I've been watching and I've noticed. And what I find quite disturbing that he's still not playing first class cricket. Having struggled and struggled and struggled, he's not playing first class cricket. Don Bradman played all the Shield matches. Despite scoring so heavily in Test cricket, he'll go and score a triple century or double century in first class cricket and come back to his cricket. So if Don Bradman did that, who are we?
Woody Bhai, finally, there's lots of congratulation messages. Obviously, when you played, social media wasn't around. But these days, you've got politicians, you've got chairman of the cricket board. Every time Pakistan wins, there's a congratulations message of some sort. I think when you guys were playing, there would have been so many congratulations messages that, you guys just took winning as natural. These days, it's like almost every time they win, it's like a big deal, and you get all these congratulations messages.
Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. A politician giving you congratulations, making the headlines in newspapers. It's nothing to do with him. It's just political mileage. They know cricket is popular in Pakistan. Some of them make a beeline to come and watch the game, or at least be there at the prize ceremony after you won. You never see them once you lost the game. Even the chairman or cricket board sometimes skips that when you lost that game. Now, that's rubbish.
Well, Woody Bhai, always a pleasure hearing your views, and inshallah we'll catch up again shortly. Many thanks for your time, and take care. Look after yourself, and
Inshallah.
we'll catch up soon.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.